What do you do when you look around and see the wicked thriving while the righteous suffer? When good people die young and the cruel seem to live forever? That question isn't new. Over 2,000 years ago, a man named Ezra, yes, the same Ezra who helped rebuild Jerusalem, cried out to God with that very same question. His words were so raw, so intense, that this ancient text, known as 2 Esdras or 4 Ezra, was hidden away from many Bibles. But the questions he asked still haunt us today. Ezra wasn't just a prophet, he was a man grieving. His city had been destroyed, his people scattered. The temple, once the pride of Israel, lay in ruins. He had seen horror, betrayal, and death, and one night, unable to carry the burden any longer, he poured out his heart to God. "Why do the wicked flourish while your people suffer?" he asked. And that night, God answered. But not with simple words. What followed was a series of visions, cosmic, terrifying, and full of mystery. God sent the angel, Uriel, to speak with Ezra. And Uriel didn't sugarcoat anything. He said, "You are not God. You cannot understand everything, but I will show you what I can." And then came the visions. Ezra saw a woman mourning, then suddenly she transformed into a majestic city. He saw a great eagle with multiple wings and heads, a symbol of empires that rise and fall. He saw a roaring lion, a righteous king who would one day come and destroy injustice. But most chilling of all, he saw the end of the world. Ezra saw a time when truth would vanish and chaos would rule. Families would betray each other, justice would disappear. Nature itself would turn against mankind. The sea would swallow cities. The sky would burn. And in the midst of all that, a voice would cry out, not to destroy, but to warn. This was not just a story of destruction. It was a warning, a plea. Ezra was overwhelmed. He begged Uriel for mercy, for answers. "Why create mankind if so many will perish?" he asked. "Why let evil exist at all?" And Uriel said, "Think of it like this. A farmer plants many seeds, but not every seed grows. Only a few bear fruit. So it is with humanity. Is it?" Ezra wept, but then the angel showed him something that changed everything. He saw the resurrection. He saw a day when the dead would rise, when those who had suffered in silence would be lifted up, when the righteous would shine brighter than the stars, and when every tear would be wiped away by the very hand of God. It wasn't just about judgment. It was about hope. God had not forgotten. In one of the most powerful moments of the book, Ezra turns his heartbreak into compassion. He begs God, not for himself, but for others. "If only I could intercede for mankind," he says. "If only I could carry some of their punishment just so they might live." Imagine that. A man so broken, so weighed down by the suffering of the world that he's willing to suffer even more just to save others. Does that sound familiar? Because hundreds of years later, someone else would do just that. Ezra's visions didn't give him all the answers, but they gave him perspective. That behind the pain there is a plan, that beyond the chaos there is a coming king, that after the darkness, light will shine again. 10 Esdras is a hidden book, but its message is deeply relevant. It reminds us that asking questions doesn't mean a lack of faith, that God is big enough to handle our doubts, our cries, and our fears. And most importantly, it reminds us that this world is not the end. Maybe right now you're where Ezra was, surrounded by pain, asking, "Why, God?" And maybe like Ezra, you haven't received a straight answer. But what if the answer isn't just in words, but in the promise of a future beyond this one? A future where every injustice is made right, every wound is healed, and every tear is wiped away. If you believe that God still hears the cries of the broken, type "God still answers" in the comments. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more powerful stories hidden in the pages of Scripture.